All's good in the hood. Doing alright. I've been just joining games and just watching random games.
Just kind of
So,
chilling.
yeah. So everyone's asking like, are you cast? I'm like, yes!
Well, you
Yes,
got
I
you
am
got the
cast.
tag, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a free pass into games. Everyone thinks you're casting, but
It's like a
no.
press badge, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Then if anyone questions you, you can just tell them like, dude, are you stream cheating? Why are you like
Yeah. Why you so worried, bro? Why you so worried?
Yeah.
So today I'm not even doing like this is super casual broken cast. Like it's so weird. This is the day I'm like trying my least hardest to put on like a professional looking production on stream, and we still get like 2,000 people who tune in, which is twice the amount of a normal Go for StarCraft Monday. So I don't even know what's happening. For those who are curious who the voice on the other end of this is Flash. You're still on Flash, right? Before I give the wrong introduction.
No, not anymore.
No? Okay, my bad. It's just Blisk, guys. He's a really well-mannered, handsome, and nice Protoss player, if you can believe a Protoss player could be any of those things. But more importantly, he's a very, very intelligent Protoss player. He's pretty good friends with Grubby, from what I understand, too, and he'll have some nice insight on this matchup, so I was more than happy to get him on the call. Plus, last time we cast, I had some fun, too. It was, just a small contributing factor. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Let's kick off these introductions. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the lower right corner of the map here, the other semifinals from, well, it's not really the team, but more sponsored by XMG. It's going to be Le TOD. Then do you want to do the other?
And in the top right-hand corner, we have from his own team, Team Grubby. It is Grubby. Yeah, you love faces. I know you love faces.
I zoomed in too, like I didn't even see it like when I panned over, so I just like zoomed in and his face is like ah!
Yeah.
But man, oh man, PvP is a fickle matchup. Like, I gotta tell you first off, I actually kinda this is the one time I really like its PvP objectively, because it means we're gonna have a ZVP finals, which I'm totally cool with. But the question is like which Protoss gets through. And if we could be completely honest for a moment, like as much skill as it actually does take to play PvP, there's a very large portion of this matchup, more so than any other, that can simply be coin flippy. I'm a little worried about that. It's always something you players do have to worry about.
That's true. But I have to say, both these players are really, really, really skilled in PvP. Grubby, I just watched one of his PvPs against this Spanish player named Majestic, and the way he played it out was just phenomenal. He had map vision the whole time and just kept on the ball with scouting and everything, so all his responses was really good. But of course, you can't count TOD out because he's been casting at IEMs, and guess who's at IEM? CJ and his hero. So he's been watching a ton of his games, and I highly suggest that it is possible that he's been taking replays from there and studying all his plays. So his PvP must be really solid, though I haven't really seen his recent PvPs.
Well, if we could be honest too, TOD only just barely didn't make it into Premier either. Like, I mean, it's not like this is some guy who's like a ladder hero. he was contending for a Premier slot in WCS 2014, guys. So I mean, I'm sure you've all heard of TOD at this point, but just in the off chance there's someone who hasn't, he's a pretty well-known guy here. Looks like Grubby's poor probe is trying to find a way to live, get back to its family. He has a wife, he has some kids. TOD, you monster, let him live. No.
Does it?
Well, he's living longer than he should. That much he's got going on.
That's true.
Still does.
So it does scout out the gases. Not sure if he saw the sentry finishing. I don't think he saw that.
No,
so yeah, this build was used by Harstem, in fact, in like the very first game that Grubby played for the day. So was also a PvP, of course, and Harstem did this exact same build. This build was actually done first by Hero, if I remember correctly, with Sentry, Expansion, and behind it getting a Stargate immediately. So you keep your opponent defensive with an Oracle, and still you're safe. For example, if they go for DTs, because Oracle can easily come back and just use...
It can be detection
and vision. Yeah, it can be the detection. And this first sentry is for the hallucination, not much for force field on the ramp. So we'll most likely see an Oracle come out from the Stargate right now.
I like
Yeah,
this
once he
opening
gets
though.
enough.
It is a catch-all. Like, not just the, I mean, even for Grubby to an extent too. He may have gone for the Dark Shrine himself, but the timing of it is like if you've got your sentries on the ramp, they'll be here to see that shimmer around the 6 to 7 minute mark, and just put the force field down and keep the DT from even getting in your base. If that was what TOD was going for. If TOD went for a 4-gate again, force field the ramp. There's a lot of solutions. Now, oh my God, that hallucination just baited out the overcharge. That is actually huge. That is phenomenally big. This is gonna suck now because Grubby's not gonna have that defensive capability for round 2 when the actual Oracle comes.
Oh, what a bait out. And not only that,
TOD
he did even scout the Dark Shrine there. So that hallucination did
Wow, that's the
like
biggest
the full-
hallucination.
yeah,
MVP.
The most useful hallucination of like so many games I've watched for ages, and looks like Grubby's slowly transitioning out of this. He's probe count still quite even here, so not much big of a lead there for TOD, even though he went for such an early expansion. And I think Grubby's gonna try to use Warp Prisms to send his Dark Shrine in, because he knows it's been scouted by the hallucinations, and he's probably not gonna warp in too many DTs, maybe just one. Or in fact, does warp in 2.
I really
But
like
I
too that
don't-
TOD opened with the Phoenix, by the way, too. For those who are
Yeah.
curious why he opened with like one randomly awkward Phoenix, this is the counter to the Oracle if Grubby himself had gone for the Oracle opening as well. When it comes to Oracle versus Oracle openings, it's God, it's so stupid. It's like Banshee versus Banshee openings. Like whoever gets there first kind of wins scenario. So by having the Phoenix out like this, it guarantees that TOD wasn't going to fall to anything too early. With a very defensive opening like this, and I mean, again, that overcharge. That overcharge, man, like, not a game-ending move, but still could have been much worse than it ended up being. He's got I like the way TOD opened this game. Pretty solid, pretty strong.
And TOD's even playing really safe here. He's even adding on just a couple of cannons in his mineral line to
Yeah. Well,
to fend off those DTs, basically, if they do get dropped in or run past his detection.
I like the investment, though. It's 150 resources, guys. It covers the detection for the DTs. It guarantees that Oracle's not going to get free kills. TOD is pretty much locked in, but this is weird because normally in PvP you don't see someone play this defensive, right? Like it's usually like you got players trading out with stalkers at this point in the middle of the map, or someone's on their way to Colossus Tech, but both kind of just playing it this very slow, methodical route of PvP. And if this leads to the late game, I give it more props because I got to be honest with you, Blisk. I don't know about you because you've got more playing experience in PvP than I do. I love watching the late game of Protoss versus Protoss so much more than any other part of the matchup. Like ZVZ,
Yep.
I love
For
every
me, it's
aspect
most
of it.
likely for me, it's more so the mid game. Like if it's like a Zealot Archon Immortal player versus the Colossus player, it's really interesting to watch how one outmaneuvers the other.
Yeah.
Well, that's for me, at least.
The
The late game is like,
hang on,
it's like
TOD,
two.
hang on, Bliss. TOD just made a huge mistake. He
What?
routed the Oracle across the map, but he had activated the attack when he was still on his base. So the Oracle's across the map now with no energy.
But it doesn't get feedback. So
Well, that
It
is that.
yeah, I know. Yeah, of course that is a mistake there, but I guess he still scouts out a third, and it can kind of.
If you
Well,
what? If
don't-
that
you don't know, but I think it's a mistake, of course, but he might have done it, like just to scout out and not get feedback.
Yeah,
of course.
I was
If
actually
you wanna
just going to
think
say
it's
exactly
great.
that. If that was intentional to go for scouting information, that's great, but that's the point of the hallucinations, right? So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think that was the case. I think it was just a small mistake, but either way, nothing
Yeah,
that's going to cost in the game. Just
It's common because many of the hotkeys do clash. Like for example, the Nexus Chrono Boost, you might have been clicking that and then just selected an Oracle instead. This happens a lot to some of the players. Me, of course, a lot of the time, because I always mess up my hotkeys. But yeah, looks like Grubby's already grabbing the third, and this is possible because he's going for his choice of unit composition here. And if he saw that TOD is actually going for such an early third with the Colossus, so he can actually push out right now because it's really greedy for a Colossus player to be going for such an early third,
Yeah.
given that they have diminished units because they have to invest so much more into a Colossus tech.
well, the armor
and also
supply not exactly so different right now. I mean, it is pretty close, but those 3 Colossus are not going to be easy to be dealt. Or sorry, the 3 Archons rather are not going to be easily dealt with here.
Yeah, but tons of Zealots are out for TOD, so if Grubby does decide to attack here, I think TOD should be able to still hold on, so nothing fatal gonna be dealt here by Grubby, I do believe. Grubby does have a War Prism though, And
I
think
like
the
that.
Warp Prism might just be to chase down the Oracle, like, and to drop a feedback, or even to drop a feedback for the Mothership Core.
Well, Todd getting some worker kills here at the third, up to 11 kills so far, pretty darn good. Grubby gonna push into this third though of Todd, and Todd, unfortunately, well, he loses the cannon for now. Recall gonna go off.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grubby just being a bit of a pain.
Yeah, being
more than
really
anything.
safe there. Just snipes the cannon and runs out. Is there an observer with this army? Yeah, there is actually. Oh, and here comes the High Templar. Drops it.
Oh, gets the Mothership
snipe.
Core. That was
Yep.
a really cool snap. I like that a lot. Of course, for those who don't know, not only does this kind of limit Todd's mobility, it also means that if he does push out, there's no save for churn, because a new Mothership Core is not going to have energy anytime relatively soon.
Yeah, and also remaking that takes 100 gas, and that's gas you don't want to spend on, like, that's gas you want to spend on other stuff like upgrades of Colossus and Archons and stuff like that. You don't want to be reusing gas, and that's the exact reason why Zerg players always target sentries, and yeah. Because you want to invest those gas into new tech and transitions.
I know we got Colossus Wars being set up here for the late game, but I'm a little bit worried because Grubby's Colossus are so far behind that of Todd's. I'm wondering if it might be a better investment to just go to Tempest at this point.
He's actually starting a second Robo as well, so it's going to be 2
there we go,
robotics.
so they're gonna start catching up in
But
production.
Todd does scout this out, so there is a timing window which you can hit right now, which is basically the timing window of now. But you can see Grubby is aware of this timing window. That's why he's very careful and placing his army very aggressively right now. So he's trying to keep Todd on the defensive while he buys time for his Colossus, of course, and even using the War Prism for just that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Zealots got a little bit of damage done there, much less that they got out alive, but I guess keeping every unit alive is a big deal. Grubby takes a ninja base as a fourth. I kind of like this move, because there's no reason for Todd to scout this anytime soon. I mean, like, he might have, like, something that goes around the map, and that's fine. I wouldn't call him a cheater or anything like that by any means, but I'm just saying, there's no reason for him to distinctively send out, like, a Zealot to the corners of the map. It's not like a Zerg player who's got lings, like, that you just throw all over the place. So this is something that may just get Grubby a little bit of a lead in this game. Again, when he's already behind the Colossus count, but not by much anymore.
Todd's really pushing. Yeah, Todd is pushing now, but if Grubby gets at least 4 Colossi out, and with his 3-3 done, yeah, the thing is, if he gets 3-3,
well, he's not gonna
while
3-3.
the fight starts,
he's just gonna 3.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Todd's the
3,
one who's been going for the
just
armor
3.
upgrades.
But it's much more effective than 2-1, of course. Much more effective than the 2 attack upgrades and 1 armor.
Yeah.
And 2 immortals in a War Prism here. This is really smart. It basically baits out Colossi shots to be firing in a separate direction, and also they flank around and deal so much damage to the Colossi which are standing at the back.
Yeah, and if Todd ignores
that. Much better position here for Todd though.
You know, there's like 1 stalker in this army, so this War Prism is actually gonna. It should technically not die, but it's got 20 health with 2 immortals in it. Gets a little bit dicey. We got 4 hallucinations coming out of Todd. Grubby has an observer here, so this shouldn't be too big of an issue. The Colossus Wars has begun, and lasers going everywhere. Grubby does have those 3 Colossus.
Fight much better though.
Yeah,
but here comes the immortals.
I don't know if this will matter though from behind. There's so many Archons still alive for Todd though. Coming in, the Immortal goes down. There's 3 Colossus, but they're forced to fight against Immortals and Archons, and Grubby has nothing left to buffer for this army. A Photon Overcharge is what he's trying to rely on to hold this position, but Todd just pushes to the natural instead, and this is, actually, are there any? There's an Observer here, never mind. If Todd didn't have an Observer, Grubby might have won that with Dark Templar just now, but sadly, looks like Todd will take game number 1 here. Or not sadly, sadly for Grubby, but congrats to Todd. Takes game number 1 in the semifinals.
We already know who you're rooting for.
Dude, I got 2 hours of sleep. I'm messing up words. If anyone wants to take that out of context, be my guest. But it's whatever.
Yeah. But I feel like I don't know what the big there wasn't any big mistake Grubby did. It was just a really good timing window that Todd hit. Because that's basically the weakness of going Archon Immortal against a Colossus player. Yeah. Like, if you don't deal damage, if you don't cancel their third, and they're grabbing a third at the same time you are, so you're not really ahead in any aspect. But for a Colossus player, having that Colossus count is much stronger than having the ground force of just Archon Immortals, especially with Frost being such a choke centric map, kind of. So,
Oh, wait, are you in a game? I just got kicked out, I think. Or disconnected or something? Hang on.
Maybe. Nah, I'm back in. Might have
Okay.
gotten kicked out.
It's like WTF.
Yeah, TOD. I would suspect it's TOD.
Oh no, I just thought the lobby got remade or something. I wasn't sure it was the wrong map or something, but Heavy Rain is okay. You know what? I am actually gonna play the intro for this one because I like this one and I worked hard on it, so you guys can deal with that. The map intro for Heavy Rain in a moment is that it will be map number 2 here, guys. I don't know. I think you just go back to the point you made earlier. Like, timings aside, those Archons, even though they were detected through hallucinations, they kind of create like this weird Sim City that makes it very clunky to get around for both players. I'm really curious if maybe those hadn't been involved, if that would have gone a little bit differently or not.
Yeah, maybe. Like, in PvP, it's so hard to call. But it's also because it's a mirror matchup and with such high-tech units like Colossi, so if one player's not maxed and the other guy is maxed, the fight basically snowballs so hard. So, like, in the last fight, Grubby was 180 supply and Todd was maxed out at 200.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just that 20 supply buffer it basically snowballs because of the units in the Protoss arsenal compared to
I
any other race.
I'm not gonna lie. I still wish, like, I mean, it was too late at that point. Obviously, I still kind of wish Grubby would have gone for Tempest instead of Colossus, though. I mean, he saw how Todd had no stalkers. There's no blink available. I mean, Archons are not a big threat to Tempest, especially if they just sit on top of the cliff. And once those Colossus go down, suddenly your gateway units become more viable, right? So, I don't know. It's a tough call to make, of course, but making that second robo facility was what Grubby went with. We'll see what he does here in game number 2 on Heavy Rain.